We still being recorded?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got to keep it gangster. You already
know. It takes a second in your old ass brain.
So you said you gave your best years to the 62 area pack.
Yeah.
You pretty much became the diary master.
Yeah.
Okay. How many years did you spend at the pack?
Yeah.
I left like September of 2003.
Okay, so that was what, 3 years, roughly?
Almost 4.
You checked in 99 or 2000? I don't remember.
End of 99, beginning of 2000.
Okay, so about, 4 years. Okay. What were those 4 years like?
For the beginning of it was like kind of hell. I don't know, for some of the, like before when we had to come in early before we had that CGIP, and we had to come in at 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. and stay until like midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, what's going on here? Like, I don't even know what this stuff means. And we had to, get our filing system on track. We had to, it was a lot of stuff that we had to do because we all knew that CGIP was coming. And when they finally came to do, that check, it was like maybe 3 people in personnel office that stayed with us for like a week. And they went through everything, every diary that we ever did, every transaction, everything. They didn't miss nothing. And he's like, up until that point, I first started doing diary. He was like, a lot of it was like, it was crazy. And he's like, but until the time you took over, until that point we got there, he was like, it was good. Like I got like, I think like 6 or 7 awards for that.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. That is fucking great. That's out fucking standing.
What were some of those awards? I know probably a certificate of commendation.
Commendation. I mean, it was a lot. I still have the awards downstairs in like one of these chests that I brought back from Iraq. I have all my enlistment papers, my re-enlistments that they gave me. It's like 4 of them. So I have all those downstairs and all that good stuff in there.
That's awesome.
But I was just scared because I was like, I didn't know if we was going to pass or not. I was like, from that point, once I got it, because they started adding the UDP stuff like that for all the units that were going overseas to Okinawa into our section. Mm-hmm. And that was a joke, man. I didn't know what was going on with that either. And Corporal Smith, at that point, he was in charge of the majority of that stuff because those rosters are so big, you can't even print those off. You had to go name by name on the computer. And you're talking about over 1,500, 2,500 names. You couldn't print that off. You got to go by hand, and like somebody's on a sheet of paper calling a name out, and you got to go on the computer to find their name and all their entitlements and everything like that. It was a mess. But at the end of it, we passed. Like we were good. They left personnel alone. It's like, we're done in here. You guys passed. You're good. And we was like right at like 98% He's like, you guys are really good in here. Good job.
Outstanding.
We were all just like,
That's cool.
We were scared, man. It was scary.
And you did it on your own, pretty much.
Yeah, we had to. And I even I had a binder that I made, like so anybody could just jump in that seat, open that binder, and do either of those jobs that I was doing at that desk. And when I left, I took that binder with me. I said, hell no, I'm not leaving this. As much work that I did to put this thing together, I can't leave this.
With all due respect, that was your Bible.
Yeah. 3270 was like your best friend. I did screenshots of everything. I'm talking about logging in, jumping from here. I had every screen. I had sometimes it's like 4 or 5 different screens on one piece of paper. It was perfect. I had Hoffa to help me with that, to put it all on one piece of paper, but it was perfect. And the actual guy that came in, he was like, how do you guys do your day-to-day turnover stuff? And I just gave him that binder. And he just sat there, and as if he was me that day, he just went through and did everything that I normally would do. Mm-hmm. He's like, that binder right there is pretty much what saved you guys. He's like, because that right there is the truth. That right there would let anybody, you can be any Joe Schmo off the street that can just jump straight in his chair. that they had, numbers to get into a computer and they can just grab their binder and actually do the job. That right there is what we wanted to see. He's like, this is the first unit that we've seen that had that.
Fuck yeah. That makes me so proud.
People, they were trying to tell them, or they had something written down on a piece of paper. He's like, but to have the words and a binder that actually showed you pictures of stuff to do it. He was like, that right there was impressive. That's how we got those awards. I mean, I didn't even get no lunches that whole week that they was there. I didn't even take a lunch. I had to sit there with them. And he's like, no. You sit right here. We got to go through this together. It's just me and you. And Smith was nervous too, because he was the one that oversees. Because he was like, if I mess up, then you messed up because you told me all this stuff. So they was like, well, if he's on the line, you're definitely on the line, Smith. And at that point, and they were threatening, to do, NJP and get, some rank taken down. I mean, it was that serious. And then on top of that, we had, some Marines that were, skimming other Marines' bank accounts and stuff. I mean, it got serious. And they found those Marines that were over in the order side that were taking, what's his name? He was the main one that was taking, he was taking like maybe $5 or $6 from like 15 Marines out of their paychecks, allotments over to his bank account.
No shit.
Oh, dang.
And before he got out, he upped it from $5 or $6 up to like $15 or $20. And that's how he got caught.
He got greedy. Yeah, I know there were Marines.
Is that why he went away or what?
Yeah, he got locked up.
I got locked up for that.
Yeah.
No shit.
Wow. But he wasn't the only one.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Oh,
it was a bunch of them. It was probably like 6 of them from orders. All of them were all in it.
I remember he tweaked his fucking
His
composite
PFT,
score, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of them, man. Like it just came down to like they were finding it.
Yeah, they were just morality issues where they were just like that. Yeah, the power corrupted. What you can do behind that keyboard, you could. Yeah.
I was like, but I wouldn't have done any of that because they had a way to track any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And when that CGIP came down, they found it. They found it all. So that right there had me scared than a mud. Like he's like, when they pulled people aside, he was like, "Hey, you don't go nowhere." He's like, "I need to see your TT. I need all your login information. I need you to write it down." I was like, "My stuff?" It's like everything. And I was like, "Okay." I wrote it down. He's like, "Don't go nowhere though. Stay in the hallway." And they were in the office maybe 2.5, 3 hours. I mean, they were going through. And they was like, "What's your name?" They start naming all these people off. And he's like, "You guys go into Chief Lawrence Kelly's office and stand by. Don't go nowhere. Stay in his office. Say nothing else."
Dang.
I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And he's like, and that ain't for you to know. Just stand by. But I'll be talking to you in a minute. I was, okay, good to go, Major. I'll stand by. It got out of control. That CGIP unraveled a lot of different things. I'm just glad we had a 98% and none of that stuff had a hit on us, but certain things that were out of my control before I got a hold of some of those certain things. So we really couldn't, control some of those things, but we made personnel was good. They couldn't hit our office. We made it out.
That's
Proud
crazy.
of you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It made my black heart grow like 2 sizes bigger.
Yeah.
Just hearing
I was
that.
scared. I was scared, man. Like I said, they were really thorough with all their stuff. Like they had a bigger computer that just pulled everything.
Wow.
I was like, what the hell? He's like, every transaction, anything that have ever been pulled, we're going to find it all. We're going to pull it all right now. I mean, they would be there all day. I mean, like from like the first thing in the morning, about like 5:30 until about 10 p.m. 2200. They would stay there and just be pulling stuff, and we had to stay with them. I was scared. And then that last day, that's when he pulled all those names.
Dang.
I was like, damn, what's going on, man? I'm scared.
So then CGIP passes. So that hurdle is passed.
Wow. So going back really quick, like when you were at PAC going through September 11th, right? And how I think we all recall certain things leading up to September 11th happening, seeing how I'm sure like you would see units going out and hearing these stories, right? And then you going to a new unit and you're now in Iraq and you're experiencing this. I mean, no one's really prepared for it. I mean, but was there an idea maybe, or like?
I don't know, because when 9/11 happened, I was actually in Oki on ship. I was in Okinawa when 9/11 happened. I actually watched it happen on TV.
So what unit were you with then?
I was at the 31st MEU. I was still attached to PAC when 9/11 happened. We had a deployment from PAC. I think it was 1-5 when we went over to Okie.
Yeah.
And we was on ship when it happened.
What were y'all thinking?
I thought at first it was a movie. I thought it was like some Die Hard stuff. I'm like, man, I knew he had a new movie coming. I was like, is this it? Is this a new Die Hard? But I'm like, what time is it? I'm like, and then you see the first plane hit, and I'm thinking like it just blows up, and I'm thinking like, and then you turn the channel, it's on every channel. I'm like, yo, that's happening for real. And one of the Marines that was on the ship, his mom was in the building.
Oh shoot, yeah.
So he's calling her office. And I was like, no disrespect, but chances is she's not answering that phone, man.
Wow.
And you're on the USSX or which?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was scary. I'm like, man, I can't believe that this just happened. And then we get the call that they were attacking other smaller ships, because that's when one of the ships got attacked by a smaller ship they used as a bomb, and they rammed the ship and put a hole in it. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for the Essex. And they was like, if they hit a hole in that boat, a lot of people are going to die. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest ship that's out in the water right now. So we got orders to get that ship back to Japan immediately. So we had just got to Australia, and we were leaving. We were going to be there supposed to be there for 7 days. We just got there because I had just been on another boat, and not knowing that boat was leaving, and then we left from that boat to jump back on the Essex. So now the Essex is going to Australia. So I'm like, I'm going back. I just left here, and I'm going back. And then they got that call that we need to leave. So we get there within like 6 or 7 hours. They were trying to round up as many people as they can find and get everybody back on the ship. We got to go. And then we take off and get back to Okie.
So what happened after that point when you guys got back to Okie? How long did it take for you guys to get back there?
Maybe a couple of days, but it was like on high alert. We had all these different helicopters flying with us, other ships surrounding that bigger ship, because they were really, afraid that they were going to try to take the ship out.
They were protecting the Essex.
Yeah, they were very much could have, because that's where all the ships, all the planes were landing on, all the amphibious, boats that go off. I mean, if this goes down and we have to get people off, we don't have enough places for people to go. So it was scary. A lot of, like I said, and then you watching all these Marines that their family members are in New York, they're losing it. Their mind is no longer where we are. They're focused on what's going on at the house. So they're out of the fight right now. They're done. I mean, it's everything, the morale, everything's just going down. Like America just took a hit. And not only did it take a hit here in the States, out there we were, everybody took a hit there too. So at this point, everybody's ready to fight, but we don't even know who we're fighting. Mm-hmm. But it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen between them while we're on the ship trying to get back to Okinawa? What's going to happen between that point? We got a long sea journey to get back. We don't know what can happen. And after hearing one of these other ships, they got hit by a smaller boat and put a big hole in that boat. Like, what if that happens to us? So now they got, fire watchers and stuff out on the flight deck all night. You got to pick an hour. Which hour you want? You want these two or the next two? But you got to be on the flight deck looking with binoculars and different things, MBGs. And if you see something, you say something. Alarm, hit the alarm and let everybody know. It was serious.
Game changer right there.
Yeah, it was.
It was wild, man. That was just the first, kind of real fear. And then my mom was like, you need to get out. You got to get out right now. They trying to kill people. Where you at? I said, I can't tell you that right now, Ma. You better tell them you need to get back here. I said, I don't make that decision. I'm still on a contract. Right. Well, I'm gonna call the attorney. Like, what attorney? They can't do nothing for me. I'm here. I signed a contract, Mom. I'm part of the crew right now until I'm released. I got nowhere to go. And during that time, my ex was pregnant with twins. They died because she was so stressed of all of that happening.
Wow, that's heavy.
There was a lot of stuff going on, and her mom being ex-commander, and we were on a naval ship. She knew where to find me. She was calling on that ship. They couldn't get me back, but they was he has his wife is pregnant and they're in the hospital, and his kids might not make it. What are you guys going to do for them? He's like, well, ma'am, it's Commander Jet to you. I mean, she was going off on them. I was like, but it's nothing really we can do. You can't do much. I can't do much from here. You can't do much from here. Even with your status of being a commander and you know so many people from Camp Pendleton, all the generals and different things, there's nothing you can do. But she tried. She's like, the best thing we can do is get him back on early party. Come back early.
Was that able to happen? Or
they got me back, but by the time they got back, the kids had already passed. I got a chance to see them, touch their little bodies, but you know, it was too late for them. It's two boys, twin boys. She held out as long as she could, and it was probably like another day. If she would have held out another 2 days or so, they probably could have lived, but it was too much stress already put on their bodies and her body. It was like either she was going to make it or they was going to make it, or one or the other. One was going to make it and one was not.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And that's the second time that's happened. That was the first. And then the second time was February 18th, 2009, year before I got out. But it was just a lot of stuff happened, a lot of moving pieces. I mean, I was like, you know, I knew what I signed up for, but at the same time, nobody knows, you know, tomorrow's not certain. We don't know what's going to happen from here. If we get back to the, you know, Japan, hopefully in one piece, no problems, you know, we'll be okay. And I'll give a call back and I'll talk to you, but calling to the commanding officer on the ship, the rear admiral, is not going to do anything here. I can't do much from this place. But it was stressful. You know, everything was on high alert. I mean, everybody's walking around with loaded, you know, M16s at that point. They wanted people to be, you know, ready. If it happens, you see something, you can take a couple shots, whatever you got to do, sound the alarm. The ship will not go down without somebody saying something or at least putting out a fight.
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
They said 9/11 started a bunch of craziness.
What happens next to Jeremiah Ramsey?
I re-enlisted.
In 2003.
Yep. January 9th, 2003. But I also had applied to be a U.S. Marshal.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was that your backup just in case?
That was the re-enlistment was a backup.
Okay.
I re-enlisted on the 9th or the 10th of January 2003, and the marshals called me the 11th of January that said that you were all good to go to come to be a marshal, but I had to let them know I had already re-enlisted.
Fuck. One fucking day.
Yeah.
One day. But on top of that, I had my oldest son promote me.
Oh, that's nice.
That's fucking great.
We were practicing it, and he put the chevrons in upside down, but he promoted me to corporal.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. So you got promoted right there at the pack.
Yeah.
So you re-enlisted. What was next?
Engineer school.
So that was was that the option if you did re-enlist that you were going to lat move?
Yep. So they was like, if you finish the school, you'll get an automatic promotion and a choice of duty station and $30,000 bonus.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah.
So a lot of people thought I was just going to go over the first CB, and I was like, I'm 62 area was good. I had my fun, but I want to see other stuff. I wanted to travel. So I went to a basic school around July of 2003, but I was still attached to, 62 area. They let me go to school. And I got back around the 15th of September. And I don't know, I came back to PAC and I'm still, doing stuff for PAC. Like I'm still in there working as if I'm part of PAC, but I already re-enlisted. My MOS has already changed. They changed it in the system there. And then I went over to 7th Engineer Support Battalion, which is in 14 area on main side.
Okay. So you stayed in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was easy because it was closer to the house. I think I live right outside the back gate at that point.
Fallbrook?
So it was like, no, right outside the main.
The main gate. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like the back gate, like Fallbrook.
So
okay.
It was like roughly maybe a 10-minute drive home.
Oh, nice.
Because when we was at, PAC, I had to drive like almost an hour to get to work every day.
Yeah.
Or leave the house, to make sure I get there in time to get the, formations if we had PT in the morning, whatever the case may be. So I no longer had to do that.
That's cool.
And some days I used to wake up early because I still had a young son. So I did, feed him a bottle because mom was going through postpartum depression. She did not want to touch him, didn't want to see him, didn't want to hear from him. So I would give him a bottle, change his diaper, put him back, sleep, and then leave. So now I go to bigger and better things. Now I'm playing in the dirt.
That's right.
I go from being in the office to being in the dirt. But then somehow, some way, the first sergeant finds out that I used to be at PAC. And she was like, oh, you're going to be the company Marine. So now we don't have to send our Marines over to PAC anymore. You're going to help us figure out all of our problems before we send anybody or do anything and send them over there.
You're going to be the middleman.
So that was my A/job. I was an engineer / still doing admin stuff for the whole company.
Fuck. At least you didn't have to have Burton alongside you this time.
I was glad that I think he got out before I got back from engineer school.
Did he?
Yeah. I think Lopez was still there right as I left, and then he left.
I met your kid. I carried your kid. Remember you showed up?
Yeah.
And I picked him up and I hugged him.
Yep. And then I had my next one.
And that's the last time I saw you until I decided to call your mom, cold call her. She's like, I don't know you. Talk to her and be nice for a while, and then convince her to give my info to you. Good little story there. Yeah.
That's fucking cool that you got to hold his
call
babies.
her.
Yeah, she tells me out of the blue. She's like, this. I think his name is like. She said his name was Kevin Spacey or Kevin something Lopez. He was something. He's like, he's looking for you. He said he's got something for you. I said, I don't know him. What do you want from me? She's like, he said you used to work together. I say, Ma, I don't know no Kevin Spacey. She meant to say Lopez. But she's an older lady, so she misunderstood. But once I got him, gave him a call, I knew it. When I heard his voice, I knew who it was. But yeah, then I got a chance to go to Iraq. First time. Bam. That was wild.
What year was that?
2003. Right as I left.
How was that?
Different. Scary. Because it was like nothing was set up. So it's pretty much everybody was running around like a wild geese with their head cut off. Like, as soon as I fly over with my unit, and once we get there, they're like, you guys are going to go with these guys. I'm like, well, who are they? It's like, that's some CBs and some other Army unit. I'm like, so why the hell are we going with them? He's like, well, they're going to breach, and you guys are going to breach with them. I'm like, that don't make no sense. Our unit is here. Why are we going with them? He said, I don't make the orders. I'm just letting you know. And this is like the company gunner's turn. It's like, you guys are going with them. So there's like 4 of us that went with another unit that we had no clue who they are. And they were trying to pull all types of rank and telling you guys are going to be doing work. I was like, that's not happening. Not my Marines. I was like, it's like me and another corporal and like 2 lance corporals. I was like, that's not happening. There's only 4 of us, and you're not going to have us doing like, petty jobs and stuff. We're not here for that. We're engineers. We're here to help, push through whatever we need to push through. If it's something you guys can't get through, or the grunts can't get through, we have our packs, we have our C4, TNT, different thing, blasting caps. We'll find a way to get us in. But we're not here to do no working parties. That ain't happening. We ain't, stirring up no shit. We ain't doing none of that stuff. That's not what we're here for. But that's what they were trying to do.
How long were you during that tour? How long were you in Iraq for?
For that one, less than 5 months.
How were those 5 months after you established, that you and your 3 other Marines weren't going to be doing what they want you to do?
It was scary, man, because like so many people were getting killed for no apparent reason. I'm like, some people were like laying under a tank, getting ran over by a tank or crushed by a tank. I mean, it was just silly people getting killed or trying to rush up a building, not know what's in that building. And then the whole building blows up. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what are we doing here? And we hadn't trained for any of this stuff. Nobody was doing anything.
So
we didn't know about some of the rockets that they were throwing out, some of the mortars. They weren't telling us anything. So, I mean, it was damned if you made it back, you were definitely lucky on that one. 03 was no better. And then come to 04, the second deployment. That was the worst of the worst.
Can you tell us what happened in 04?
When we first get to Fallujah, February 28th, close enough, they confiscated one of Saddam's palaces. I mean, it's like a whole city, man. It's like Camp Pendleton times 4.
Wow.
I mean, it's beautiful inside. A big gate around the whole thing. Like, you hear about these things, but then when you actually see it, and he had plenty of these around. I'm like, this is crazy. Like when we got one of his palaces, like, are you like, this is wild. And you go inside one of the buildings, everything was made out of gold doorknobs, a gold toilet, picture frames made out of pure gold. I mean, you had Marines losing their minds, breaking picture frames, taking doors out. He's like, man, I'm gonna melt this gold down and get some money. Like, you heard about those things, but you didn't until you actually seen it. It was unheard of. Yeah, we had a mission. Our mission was to take Fallujah. That's where the majority of the Taliban was held up. So they concocted a plan. Come April 1st, everybody that we had, from the States, they want to make a big circle around Fallujah, and they were going to squeeze. They were going to come like this and push in. They gave them to the 30th or the last day of March to leave. If you didn't want to die, you had that point to leave, because on the 1st of April, they were dropping all of the grunts, and they're going to squeeze. They're going to push in, and they're going to squeeze the city. And whoever's there, you have a weapon in your hand, you will die. And you guys have seen probably American Sniper. That was true indeed, exactly how it was. Like I said, our unit lost 15 people on the 15th of April within 5-6 minutes. I went to go take a shit in the porta-john, and a shot just went straight through the top of the porta-john. I was like, I can't die like this, man. I didn't even get a shot off. No. I'm like, it's happening. It's going down right now. And it was like it was rehearsed. It went so smooth because nobody anticipated it to go as fast as it did. And at that point, we was guarding this thing they called the Cloverleaf. It was like a main road strip. They were always stopped. That's where they were catching our convoys, and they were blowing them up. They were either stopped. They were laying down tank rounds, and they had them daisy chained. So whoever hit the first one, it would blow 15 up behind them. So if it was a 15 truck convoy, all those trucks, the first one goes off, everything behind is dying. There's nobody living from that. So that's why they had all the engineers out there looking for these things. And we was tearing down guardrails, because that's where they were putting them, closer to the guardrails. So they tasked with tearing down the guardrails, and they had HE digging up spots and burying it. So now, if they want to be out there, we would see that the ground was been disturbed. So we know somebody's been out there. And he's like, this is a stronghold. We have to get this point back. And within 15 minutes of us getting there and getting to the point of setting up, we lost 15 people. And at that point, us as a whole unit, we couldn't go out as a whole unit anymore. So now we were just, security for EOD. Or we would go out and help them find caches of weapons, bombs, help deactivate them, because it was too much just for, they only had like maybe 4 or 5 EOD techs over there, period. It's like, that's too much stuff for them to go throughout the whole country for just 4 or 5 people. You guys have engineers, you have trucks, they're still Marines. You're going to send 5 trucks with 5 Marines with their 1 truck of 4 people, and you guys are going to help out. That's going to be your new mission. There will be no more of, platoon-sized people going out. That's going to be our new mission. So every day it would change. It'd be this 5 one day, another day, another 5, or another, 5 trucks, another day, another 5 trucks. They just switched it up on us. But a lot of people were still getting killed, because they had a sniper on their side. And just like in that movie, that he used to be in Olympus, he was taking a lot of people out. In Fallujah itself, if you went to Fallujah or Ramadi, you were guaranteed a fight. For how long? That was the problem. That was the one question mark that nobody knew. If you went to Fallujah or Ramadi, you were guaranteed to get into a fight. But after April, that whole month of April, and they narrowed a lot of them out. It was still a lot of people still around, but not as many as it was before. And then we thought we were helping some of the locals. We were building like fruit stands and stuff, helping them like that. And come turn out, they were putting bombs in the fruit stands, trying to kill us that way too. So they were still helping. I'm like, you got to be shitting me, man. Like, I just talked to that guy yesterday, and like, yeah, he died last night while they were on patrol next to that fruit stand that we had just built them. I was like, so when are we ever going to leave this? Like, this is the place where they say that, Jesus and stuff was born, but this is straight hell right now. Like, I'm truly don't want to be here no more. Like it's getting to that point. Like people were stressed. We were barely getting any sleep. They were like, they had us overworked. Because anytime they get, and like even up to the last week we were leaving, we were still doing missions. We had another week, like the last Friday before we left, we were still doing missions, even though they had a advance party come early, and we showed them a month early, and yet we're still doing missions. I'm like, how does that make sense? They're here already. Why are we still doing this? We've already showed them how to do what we're doing. They've been with us for a couple of missions. Why are we still doing this? Why are we still here? And we still lost 6 people a week before going home. I mean, that shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have been us. Our jobs was already done. So like I told you before, once we got back in like 2005, they was like, well, you can go to a couple of jobs, different schools. I was like, I don't want to go back. I'm not going back to back to back. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to work from that. My next son was just born. I was like, I just want to just relax, man. I don't want no more of that shit. My nerves is bad. I don't get no sleep. I still can't get sleep. Just like when you guys we want to take a break. Like for me, it don't matter. I can do this all night. Because, over there, we won't get much sleep. Because anywhere between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., they would attack.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Persistent. So most of 2005, I went to different job schools. I went to engineer NCO course. And that was like 5.5, 6 months.
Is it typically that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a lot of stuff to learn. But it's only like a total of 20 Marines. It's not a whole lot of people. It's only 20 people. Only 20, quarter of 20 people can go. Staff NCOs and sergeants and corporals. That's it. And when we went there, it was like 2 gunnery sergeants, like 4 staff NCOs, and the rest were sergeants and corporals. So I was like, man, I'm good with this because like we're not dealing with any Lance Corporal, any Lance Coolies. So everybody here is all NCOs. So like our platoon sergeant that we had for that course while we were there, he was a master sergeant. He's like, so you guys already should know. We're not going to babysit you. You're all NCOs or staff NCOs. So no more babysitting, no more of that bullshit. If you need to be somewhere we need to be, you need to be there. Mm-hmm. We're not going to hold your hand. He's like, if you're not there and you know what we have to do, you're going to be consequences. He's like, we're just telling you straight off from the bat. We got a lot of stuff to do, and we got a short time to do those things. I said, but it's like 6 months. He's like, yeah, but we're only going to be working on certain things for like a week or 2 weeks, and we got to move on to something else. And I was like, dang. But they did a lot of PT there, man. I don't know we would run from like Camp Pendleton or Camp Lejeune, and there was like a little beach out there that was like maybe 12 miles out. He wanted to run at every Friday.
Is that Onslow Beach?
Yeah, I'm like, why? He's like, oh, we're going to make sure we're still in shape. And there was a couple guys, one guy they call Hollywood, he had just had, 2 knee surgeries. And this dude couldn't even pass a PFT. So I was like, so why are you here? You just had knee surgery like 4 months ago. You're not healed. You know that. We know that. But yet we still, they still made us PT like that. Every Friday, 1,500. He's like, whenever we run down to the beach, and then we'll get there, we wait till everybody got there, no matter how long it took. And then once we start running back, he's like, just take off. And he's like, whenever you get back, you're done for the day. Some people get back like 8, 9 o'clock.
Oh my God.
You'd be so tired. It's like, come on, man. I mean, I was in shape, but I wasn't expecting that every Friday. But, after a while, you get used to it, but it's just still something.
So that was 05.
Yeah. So now I have my AAS is now August of 06. I'm like, yeah, I ain't got to do no more deployments. I'm in the clear. I'm good. So I go back to my unit, which is now MWSS 274, Cherry Point. So they're like, this is around like January or something like that. We just got like 18 new engineers. So they come to me and it's like, well, we got all these new engineers. You've already been to Iraq twice. You've seen what it's like. You know the ins and outs. Most of the guys are getting out. I know your AS is, in August. Would you go if we can get you advanced party there and get you back advanced party? I'm like, what? I'm about the EAS. I just want to do my 8 years and I'm done. I don't really care about any of that anymore for certain. Like, to be honest, I'm done. I've given you what I could. He's like, but you also, signed and said that you would, do whatever you could for the Marines, and you would, train the next generation Marines. I said, I'll train them. I'll get them ready. But that's it. But it did not require me or say anything for me to go overseas. And then he, kind of like left it alone at that, and he walked away. And then like the career retention specialist came up to me. He's like, well, if you extend, like we're just talking extension for like maybe a month or so, and if I can get you a $30,000 bonus, would you go? I'm like, shit, I can ES, get 30,000 and save money while at the same time. And he's talking my language, but I need it in writing. I want it in writing. If I don't get it in writing, I won't do it. This fucker goes in his back pocket. He already had it in writing.
Oh my God.
He knew what he was doing. So I signed it and I left to go over there. And we get there, now we're at an air base. So it's not as bad as it was, Fallujah is nowhere near that problem anymore. We don't have to do as much stuff. Now we're just pretty much, every now and then they would send an engineer out with the convoys because they were blowing up the roads to try to stop these convoys. So they send an engineer out. If we find, IED or anything like that, we just, blow it in place and just keep moving. Don't try to deactivate it because that's just too much time. Anytime that vehicle, all those vehicles stop, they're looking to attack. So if you can put a bomb together, and most times I would already be having something in my bag ready to go put together. I just need to add a blasting cap and a det cord, for roughly 3 to 5 minutes and just light it, and then we're good. That's it. No more, no less. Add those two things. We can blow it in place. Let's move on. Yeah, so we're everything's rotting good. I'm like, everything's perfect. And then leading from the 3rd to the 4th of July, they would attack the base every night between 10 and 5. 10 p.m., 5 a.m., going from the 3rd to the 4th, it didn't happen. Nothing happened. It was peaceful. You can actually sleep, no problems. The interpreters, they didn't show up the next morning. And they were paying them in roughly, from 4,000 to 7,000 a day. They didn't show up. They had cleaners that would clean, the showers and the head and stuff. They didn't show up. I'm like, yo, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. I was like, don't jinx it. I was like, it's already jinxed. Nothing happened last night. Those interpreters didn't show up.
Shit. And
they were paying them hardcore cash at the end of the day. They have suitcases full of money. They would just open it up and just give them stacks of, $4,000 to $7,000. They didn't show up. I'm like, something's going to happen today. I feel that in my bones. I'll put money on it. I'll bet my next entire paycheck something's going to happen today. He's like, you're jinxing. I'm like, the hell with all that jinx stuff. I know it's going to happen. I'm not jinxing it anymore. I know it's going to happen. EOD would, whatever cache they found, the couple of days before, they would take over into a big field way out, outside of the camp, at the end of the camp, and they blow it up between, 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And I don't know why they started late this day, but the first time they started was like right about 10:15. So the first bomb blew up, boom. I'm like, that's EOD. They doing their thing. But then it was like another bomb, like boom. And like another one, and it's just coming in. I'm like, EOD don't never do it that many times. So alarm went from one side of the base saying that we had incoming. I'm like, shit, it's happening. I'm thinking this in my head. I'm like, it's about to happen now. It's already started. And no sooner than I said that, 2 little trucks came by and they were shooting rockets and mortars. And I had the guys up at the gate. I'm like, with 50 cal, so I start throwing them more ammo. I'm like, shoot them truck. Do not let them get closer than no more than 300-400 feet. We need to keep them back as far as we possibly can until the react team can get up here to get at them. So while I'm trying to do that, going back and forth, passing off ammunition and telling the junior Marines that's shooting the M16s down here and the 240 saws, and I got the 50 cals up top. And through all that process, a mortar landed about 6 feet away from me. And at that point, all games is over for me. I'm no longer in the fight. And like you, I thought I lost my legs. I couldn't feel anything. When it hit, it blew me kind of backwards. I thought I was dead at that point. I swore I thought it was just over for me because I was out for like 4 or 5 minutes. Heart and everything stopped. I should have been dead. But then all of a sudden, I found the medic that I joined when we first got to the 62 area. When we went to 1-5, he went to 1-5 as well, but he went over to med portion and we went down to pack. He checked in when we checked in. He was standing over me saying everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, I can't feel my legs, Doc. Do I have legs or not? I'm like, Doc Rice, I don't feel my legs. He's like, don't worry about it. You're fine. I'm like, you're not telling me something. I can't feel my legs, Doc Rice. He's like, everything is okay. You're fine. We're here with you. It's going to be okay. I thought at that point I was paralyzed from the waist down. So I knew at that point for me, it was over. Once I seen like they had my legs in type of like a hot cold bag to keep everything as moist as it could be until they got me out of there. And I seen medevac coming in, other people that were injured. They were taking us out of there, moving us over to one plane that was shooting us over to Germany. Once we get to Germany, he hit me, before we all that point, he gave me some morphine and knocked me out because I was just stressing. Like my heart rate was going high. He was like, you got to calm down. You're about to go and hyperventilate. You got to relax, calm down. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You're fine. I was like, but you're not telling me something. I can't feel my legs. Hit me with that morphine. I pass out. I wake up. I'm on a plane now in Germany. I'm handcuffed to a bed or zip tied to a bed. He was like, you are a fighter. It's nothing but females here. We cannot handle you 1-on-1, 5-to-1. So you're going to stay like that until we get back to the States. We have, pain drip. If you need more, just, yell or let somebody know. We'll come over and check to ensure everything is okay and it's coming down the way it should. But other than that, that's where we are until we get back to the States. We'll make you as comfortable as can until we get back to the States. So, yeah, I would just hit that button and just pass right back out some more. By the time I first got back to the States, as soon as I touched down in Raleigh, North Carolina, I just went straight over to UNC. And the doctor that they had slated to do our surgeries down there, Camp Pendleton, Camp Cherry Point, that's where he was at anyway. So they took me over there and they did my first 3 surgeries. So I had 1 surgery, 90 days later, the 2nd surgery, 90 days after that, the 3rd surgery. And then I was able to move from UNC back to Cherry Point where I could be in a stable position and move back to the house with the wife and kids at that point.
Could you tell us what the injuries were?
It was pretty much my lower extremities. My left foot had to be reconstructed. Every bone, every tendon, every muscle, every nerve had to be replaced or put back as best they could. My Achilles tendon, about that much it came out, a bone just cut right through it. That's why I couldn't feel my legs. And I need to have surgery on my lower back, but I refuse to do that because my wife has already had 2 of them, and I've seen how she's been, and I'm not going through that. I know she's hurting. And whatever pain I was feeling, just a couple of days ago, I probably would have just pulled the trigger if I had to go through what she's going through. Because I know she's hurting every day. I mean, I hurt too, but I don't want that pain as well as the other pain that I have going on.
So you have your 3 surgeries. And when we talked on Monday, you said they were 90 days apart?
Yeah. Because it was so swollen, they can only reset the bones first to get them where they needed to be to make sure I had all the bones there. So once they reset all those, and they put like pins in them to keep them straight, keep them right where they needed them to stay until all the swelling went down, then they can do the next portion and whatever tissue and everything can be readjusted or cut apart, taken off pieces. They cut those pieces and keep what they could keep. And then after 90 days from that, that's when they go in and try to make sure whatever nerves can be severed and put back or put in certain positions. If they couldn't, they would kind of cauterize those nerves off so they don't be an issue forever.
Well,
and at that point, that's when they finally put the 8 pins in there after all those surgeries were done. I got a chance to finish all that, and I was getting a chance to start walking again. And then the ankle itself would not hold up, so it broke. So I had another surgery because of all those bones. They were so brittle and they weren't holding. He's like, well, if we put the 8 pins in there, that should hold up for that portion. But my Achilles had cut through, and one of the other Marines that passed when I got hurt the first time in Iraq coming back, his family had allotted for me to have his Achilles. We were the same blood type. He no longer needs it. He's already passed on, and they, gave the blessing for the doctor to cut it out of him and to give it to me. So I still have that part in my body as we speak. It still hurts, and this puppy does not help when he bites that part.
Like if they know, huh?
Well, he's sleeping now, finally. I swear that rotten dog, man. But he bites back then. He's got sharp teeth. God.
So that 1 month now extended into how long?
I end up staying another 4 years and like 3 months.
Wow.
And you mentioned on Monday he had a term for it. Was it medical enlistment? Is that what you called it?
Medical retirement.
Medical retirement. So the 4 years that you needed to, so your third and final term, that was mandatory for your body to heal.
Yep.
What happened?
There's nothing I can do about it, because like once you get to that point in your medical, they change your EAS to zeros. Until a number is put in there. You don't know when you're going to get out.
Right. What
I
happened?
didn't find out until about 3 months before I got out. The orders that come down from headquarters Marine Corps, and they finally gave me an EAS date, which was October the 30th, 2010. And I got those orders on July 15th, 2010. But up until that point, I had already checked out. I already did my blood work, my dental. I had everything already done. I had no more rifle. I had nothing. All I needed was just 2 signatures from the career retention specialist and the commanding officer, the colonel. That's all I needed, and I could leave. But I didn't know, like when you're in that medical retirement status, they actually give you 60 days of leave, free, included in your ES. When you get in retirement, they give you 60 days of free leave. So whatever leave I had at that point, they was like, you can sell back or use it to leave early, but you have 60 days on top of that. And you actually go to a class like you would be getting retirement. Like if you were doing 20 years, you actually go to the class with those guys and you go through all that stuff together. And while you're at that class, they have all your stuff for your VA rating. You're doing all that stuff at the same time. So I had my VA rating before I even got out. But that money won't kick in until the day after UAS. So that didn't kick in until the 31st of October of 2010.
How were those 4 years like? That third enlistment?
The first 2 of those 4 years, it was a lot of surgeries still. Because I was still trying to, I had a sergeant, another sergeant, a staff sergeant. He's like, you need to stop being a little bitch and get yourself together. You can do this. Get back in the fight. So I'm in my head thinking like, I can get back. I can get back there. Because I hadn't had a surgery in a while, and I went to start trying to do I tried to do a CFT, and I broke the other foot. Not the right. The left foot was already fixed. I broke the right foot. That's why I got the screw in that foot. The big toe completely broke off from doing a CFT. I picked up somebody. Like usually when you do a CFT, you pick somebody that's the same height, same weight as you. And I didn't have somebody that was my same height. He was like maybe 6'1", probably had me by a good 40 or 50 pounds. So I tried to pick him up. And as we were going, I had him. And next thing you know, I didn't have him. And I started leaning forward. And then I was trying to, press my foot down, and it just broke. The big toe just went snap back, came straight off. And he's like, but don't take that boot off. It took me from 29 Palms down to Camp Pendleton to do the surgery. I'm in pain the whole time. He's like, there's nothing really we can do right there. He's like, we can give you a shot of morphine or something, but that is about it. Once we get there, they're going to start the surgery. And they're going to put a screw in there. You'll be good to go. I'm like, this just sucks, man. So now I have to be to work every day because I'm the training chief. So I had to be there at 2 a.m. to get people on the rifle range. Like I'm doing this every day. Rifle range, PFT, CFT, swim qual, all the training stuff to get people to go overseas or to go for promotions. That's my whole thing. That's all I'm doing every day, all day, setting up those different things on the range, CFT, PFT, swim call, all those different things. I'm doing that all day, every day. And I want to report to one person, which was the colonel, not the master sergeant that's in my office, not the major that's in my office. None of them. I go straight to him. If I have any problems, I'm like, sir, this is what's happening. I have Captain Dickhead that doesn't want to, he didn't want to be the rifle range at 3 a.m. to get his weapon like he was supposed to. He didn't get there to 05 and they were already firing at 5, so they kicked him off the range. He's like, you know what? Give me a second. You get on the phone. You tell Tom to get up here right now. Now. And this captain comes up there. He's like, sir, Ramsey, step out for a minute, close the door. And he just chooses him a new one. He's like, if you have any more trouble out of him, you let me know. And anybody else. And he would tell him, if there's anybody else from your company, any of the other lieutenants or the butter bars, anybody else has any more problems, whatever he says goes, it's coming from me. It ain't him. I said it. So if he tells you to be there 02, guess where you're going to be at? Captain, sir, I will be there 02. No, he's like, no, you're going to be there 0145. He's like, roger that, sir. So those guys would be there 0145. All the lieutenants and any of the officers now, majors, it didn't matter, lieutenant colonel, all of them. Just because this one captain decided he wasn't going to come when he's supposed to be. Now all of them have to be there at 0145.
It only takes one, right?
Yeah. They were there before me, and I didn't have to be there to 02 at the Army to get their weapons. And they hated that I had that control, but I was like, it's not me, it's him. It's coming from him. You guys are getting ready to go to Afghanistan. I have no control over that. He wants these numbers where he wants his numbers. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, look at me. I'm in a cast, a walking boot. I'm not going. You guys are going. So I'm trying to do what I have to do. I mean, at one point, I even took them down to boot camp down to San Diego to do the swim call at one point. Because our pool at 29 Palms was, they were redoing the whole inside of the pool because the bottom of it was cracked. So they had a whole crew coming in there laying down new concrete. So I chartered 6 buses and we drove down to boot camp and did swim call.
Dang.
Over 1,500 Marines at one time.
Fuck.
But it got done. That was the only thing I like doing those things, like going around and like ordering MCIs and all that good stuff like that for the Dream Marines. I had Marines that was in Tank's company coming to me for certain things. I was like, you guys aren't even under my command. He's like, but you guys are like headquarters. Like everybody's under this command. Out of confidence, because on the range when they was out there and I was down in the pits, when they, you got to pull down the targets and stuff, I was down there with them, just letting the Marines know I'm here just like you guys. Like it doesn't matter if I'm on crutches or not. I'm still going to be out here with you guys to let you know I'm just like you, no better than them. I don't have no chevrons on, but you know who I am. They said, but you're broken. I was like, you guys still got to qualify. You still got to be on the range. I still got to get you ready for to go to Afghanistan. So I'm going to be down here with you. And I need these scores at the end of the day so I can turn them in to the commanding officer. So that's why I'm here. I'll stay here until it's done. This is the last piece that I need for this week. And then we'll go on to something next week. And we'll do it all over and just keep doing it until my time is up. But it was fun until they told me, I had those 2 months of leave and I still had like 20 or 30 some days of leave myself. So I was like, I'll use some of those days to meet most of those days, but I think I sold back like 15 days. I used 15 and I left that much early. So I told my kids to go to school that next morning. By the time they went to school, I got a U-Haul and packed up everything. By the time they got home, we left. Left 29 Palms and made it back to Philly. And I was like, I can't stay in Philly either. I was like, we're going down to North Carolina, man. We're going to be on the beach. I want to get closer to somewhere where I can have access to medication and a doctor. So I settled on Cherry Point because I knew that place. I've been there before. So that's where I went. And then I had a stroke.
What year was that?
2011.
And that was your first stroke?
Okay. Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. I was, it was like 2 days after my birthday. So December 27th, 2011. Kids had already went to school or where they was going for that day. And mom was, they went somewhere to enjoy themselves, get them, just get out of the house. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep a little bit because we had already did some traveling to Philadelphia, stopped at my mom's, which is in North Carolina. And then we just came home. And they just wanted to go and just do kid stuff. They didn't want to be around all the adults and stuff. And I'm like, well, you don't have to. We're done. You know, we're past all that point. Let's just, you know, you guys can do whatever you do. He's like, well, we want to go to, it's like a place where they have like laser tag, golf cart and all. I mean, go-karts. They had all this kid stuff all in one building. So I gave them enough money and they just went to do that. And then I tried to get up and I couldn't move. My entire right side was just gone and I couldn't get out of the bed or anything. I couldn't move my eye, my right side of my mouth. I couldn't move the arm. I couldn't feel anything. So I just laid there for hours. So by the time at that time, my ex, she got home and got me over to the hospital. And that's what, like I said, I didn't know the signs then, but during the second, stroke, I knew the signs. So I got to the hospital faster, but this time it already took heed. So it already been full blown stroke. I lost function for like 4.5, 5 months. When I have to use your right hand, right arm, right eye. So the left side of the brain had been damaged. So the right side of the body was affected. So if the right side of the brain would have been affected, the left side of the body would have been affected.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but that's how they explained it to me. And they did an ultra or like a CT scan of my brain. And it's a part of the brain in the back that's dark is no longer working because of that. But they don't know, was it the bomb or was it the stroke did the most damage? Because up until that point, I was only at like 80%, retired. I didn't get that full 100%. Because he's like, well, you haven't really, experienced a whole lot of PTSD. Like, we don't know if that really you qualify for that. But then after that stroke, and then, I didn't want to go different places. And then a lot of different things happened. Then, after seeing American Sniper for the first time, all that shit came back. Everything. From when I was there, when it was happening, everything in that movie, as it was happening, it came back full force.
And that was the first time you experienced PTSD?
Yes.
At that point.
The first time it came full circle. And I damn near killed my ex with that. I choked her. I was choking her thinking that she was one of those Taliban warriors. Tried to kill him. She was at that point like, you either get help or don't come back to this house. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, but kids can't see that. Don't ever touch me like that again. So I knew I had problems.
How did I word this? Were you keen to do it like as soon as possible, as soon as she gave you that ultimatum? Or were you still wrestling with it? Okay.
I had to because the dog was even barking at me and growling, wouldn't even come close. It was something wrong. It was like a different person. And as I say that, my emotional support animal is right here too.
Oh, your cat.
Which is a cat. Yeah, she's here.
They know.
Yeah.
She knows.
So you went to go seek help after that first bout of PTSD?
I went to the VA hospital and they did another, a deeper dive CT scan where they had me drink this type of stuff and they kind of like illuminate certain portions of your brain. Mm-hmm. And when they came back and they showed me, he's like, all this right here, that's trauma to your brain. Your brain has a lot of stuff going on inside of it. He's like, what were you thinking or what was coming over you when that episode happened? I was like, I just seen this movie. So they had me lay back on this like kind of table and like kind of had me strapped down. And then they played a portion of that movie and they had these things like on my head so they can monitor some of the reaction going on and they could see. And he was like, did anybody even tell you had PTSD? I was like, no. And he's like, oh, you definitely do have it. And you got it bad. And he's like, if it was me, I would tell you never to watch this movie again. So since it first came out in 2014, I've never watched it again.
And now, is that with any movie similar to that? Or was it just in particular American Sniper?
That one for sure. But the last movie that came out with Jake Gyllenhaal, that movie, The Covenant, the second time where I told you where the cat I was sleepwalking and I was out and about, that happened when I watched that movie. So I haven't watched that one since. That was the second portion. Like I said, I was living like 3 hours from where we are now, and it was snowing. I had no shoes on, no socks, barely a t-shirt, in shorts. And I'm just walking out in the middle of the street. And this cat was in front of me, making sure I got back home. She was like growling at me, scratching me, pushing me, just doing whatever she tried to do to try to get me to wake up because I was not in my right mind. So for one thing that I've learned, I've not watched any type of movies like that anymore. Something in that has triggered something that has been pushed deep down. And anytime I watch anything like that, it pulls it back full force to the front.
Thank God you have the wherewithal to acknowledge what triggers it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because like I said, in 2004, like it was so much stuff happening, so many people dying, so much stuff that we had to do. And it was like at one point, like 10 Marines and we had like 13 buildings to clear. And these buildings have, 50, 60 rooms. It's only 10 of us. And we got to clear all the, we got to, you only got 6 or 7 days to clear all this stuff. I'm like, that's not enough time. We don't have enough people. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to be, we don't have enough time. He's like, we have orders and we have to do what we have to do. I'm like, I understand that, certain, but I don't think we have enough time to do that. Like, I'm going to do what we have to do, but I don't feel we have enough manpower to do what they're asking. Like somebody's going to get shot. Somebody's probably not going to make it back. And I think the 3rd or 4th day into the 7-day crusade, somebody did not make it back. And I'm like, this ain't right, man. It's not fair. Like, why do we have to be the ones to have to? It's like, because we're the engineers. This is what we signed. I didn't sign up for all of this. I signed up to do a job. But this right here, I mean, there's hundreds of them out here in Fallujah. There's hundreds of them. There's 10 of us. What is that going to do against them? So for every Marine that we have here, you got to take on 10 of them by yourself if it happens. That's not enough. So I always had that in the back of my mind while we were out there. If it happens, it's 10-1. We'll get it done. But, because obviously we have better training than them, but they have AK-47s. Those things shoot through any and everything. I mean, that might, even the metal and all the different things that they had to protect our body, it can shoot through those too. So I was like, that's not enough help either. I mean, they want us to do what we need to do, but I'm like, that's not enough. It's not enough.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's intense, man.
Please like and subscribe to our podcast. Find us on Instagram at Chat62Podcast. Email us at chat62podcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Brothers and sisters at arms, are you struggling with your mental health? You are not alone. There is help available. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is there for you. Call or text 988 to connect with a trained crisis counselor 24/7. Do not hesitate to reach out for support. You are strong. You are loved. Semper Fi.